Yo, so first and foremost, I wanted to say I changed my recording software. I changed from OBS Studio to Streamlabs OBS to try some of their functionality because I wanted to see what more tools and toys I had to play with and what I can do to improve my stream and the videos that we have here. But when I did that, it changed all of the audio settings that I was using, so I had to try and set up and mess with it a little bit earlier today. So let me know if there's audio issues and I will work to fix them. I'm going to be constantly working on this. I just want to make sure you guys knew what I was doing in the background. Now let's talk early game progression, about adventure rank 0 to 15. Let's talk things you can do, things you should do, things to keep an eye on, and things to completely avoid as to get the most benefit out of the resources you're going to have. Now let's talk about character level. When you're in the early game, you're going to be opening chests, killing monsters, doing all kinds of things, and you're not really going to worry too much about your level. You're just going to go through the game. But if you want to improve your pace a little bit and make yourself a little stronger early on, I would recommend investing into your main character. Your main character is going to be able to do plenty of damage, have plenty of utility, and can be useful in any composition, be as the main DPS, or even support or an enabler throughout your party, all throughout the game. So investing in your main character is very valuable. In terms of investing character level, you can use these XP tickets that you get early on. There's 3 different rarities and they obviously give 3 different amounts, but early on, if you want to get a little more bang for your buck, what you can do is instead of maxing your character's level out instantly, you can pull back a level or 2 and then let him absorb some of that XP that you're going to get from questing, so you don't waste as many resources and have more of these tickets available to you later on in the game when they're going to become more important. Early on, your level doesn't mean as much, but later on, you're going to be running out of resources, XP tickets, materials, so using them wisely early on can let you have them for later. Super early game, any gray item I would not enhance. It is not worth your time. But if you get a decent green item, any of these, they're just going to have basic attack. When they become level 3 items, they will have a secondary stat that can become valuable. But feel free to advance these to up to level 20, but do not ascend any of these weapons. It is not worth your time to ascend any green 2-star variant level weapon. But unlike characters, weapons only gain experience through enhancing them with other weapon materials. Because of that, I would recommend leveling up your weapon early on just to give you that extra push through the game. It's not going to be that expensive for you, and it's going to provide you a more meaningful benefit early on to help you speed through the leveling process. Now, the next step of progression is your artifacts. Early on, you're not going to get a lot of purple artifacts. You might even get a lot of blue artifacts. There's a single purple artifact that you can find from my useful NPCs video, which is Victoria in the Mondstadt Chapel, that can give you a 4-star artifact early on that can roll something valuable for you. But early on, until you get to blue quality, now there's only one thing that's worth leveling up early game until you start getting into blue level 3-star artifacts. Find any, and I mean any, green plume. That is your feather slot here. Every single variant of plume has attack value, stats or no stats, it doesn't matter. Level up your plume, allow you to do more damage and get through the game quicker and let you kill stuff more efficiently. It's very valuable. It will be very easy for you as you're killing monsters, opening chests. You'll have a variety of resources available to you, but your attack stat is your most important early on, so leveling your plume is paramount. In terms of the other artifacts that you have here, until you get to about 3-star or blue quality artifacts, don't really look to level anything but your plume. They're not going to hold that much value for you, and they're not going to give you that much value until they hit about blue quality. But when you do start getting blue star artifacts, these are the 3 you should be mainly focusing on after your plume: your timepiece, your chalice, and your helmet slot, all of which should have rolled attack damage. Don't worry about crit chance, don't worry about crit damage. Those are things that are going to be more effective later on in builds. Just worry about getting that attack stat up. Every spell, every ability you have relies on your attack stat, so improving it as much as possible is going to give you the most benefit early on. Now, this is where I initially messed up. I didn't know what I was doing. I was going through, playing around, having fun. At Adventure Rank 8, you unlock your first resin sink, which is the Leyline Blossom Revelation. This will be the icon you will see on the map. And what I recommend you do for these Blossoms of Revelation, or when you get to them, the Blossoms of Wealth, is you're not going to have any valuable uses of your resin early on. And you don't want to waste the resource like I did and let it sit capped at 120 and do nothing with it for a long time. So the moment you get your resin, the moment you're able to spend it, you don't have to spend all of it at once, but do a couple leyline blossoms, drop it down, just let that resource tick, and do not let your resin cap. As you do this longer and longer, the benefit that you have of using your resin early on as compared to not using it at all is increased adventure rank, increased resources. It's overall just going to give you a lot better foot forward in the game if you use your resin early on. So I would do your most to make sure your resin does not cap and use these ley lines to your advantage while you're leveling so you can have an edge up compared to people like me who didn't use the resin because they didn't know how important it was. But that's it for early game. Just make sure your main character is leveled, his weapon is good, the plume in his artifacts is leveled up and ready to go, and you are using your resin when it is available and not capping out its resource, so you're always gaining benefit and always gaining resin early on in the game. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good one. Bye!